see anybody here yet, but that's because it's an impromptu stream. So, kind of hang out. I just want to talk a little bit about the strange things I don't understand about the election and see what you guys have to say. So, um, it's been a crazy long day. I've driven something like 400 miles, saw a bunch of people, worked with them, of course, and got to go to the gym and run. And now I'm once again thinking about this election. My daughter's at her grandma's house, and so I had a little bit of extra time, and I figured, why not talk to the chat? So the things I'm thinking about are more like, well, they're like Michigan saying they're not going to count the vote till the next day, Arizona saying that they're not going to count the vote for 10 to 13 days, and different scenarios where Nevada doesn't matter. In fact, I don't think Nevada matters in most meaningful scenarios to Trump or Harris to seal the election. So it's a very strange looking electoral map. And what's even stranger to me is that it seems that legacy media is abandoning Kamala Harris. CNN said that her town hall was word salad city. And she's been, even MSNBC was kind of crushing her. In fact, I heard this on the radio earlier. There was a panel on MSNBC of black women that MSNBC came on to have a focus group and talk about who they were voting for, and all of them were for Trump. And that was on MSNBC. Like, if MSNBC can't find a bunch of Kamala voters to bring on, or at least get people to say that they're Kamala voters, you gotta think, like, is something going on? It seems like the legacy media has completely abandoned Kamala Harris. They're actually criticizing her now. I don't know if they're just trying to distance themselves from her, or if they're just so certain that their fortification is going to work that they just don't care. Now, I'll tell you, the Michigan and Arizona thing really bugs me, because Maricopa County is the one county in the whole U.S. How is it legal for them to make the entire rest of the country wait for 2 weeks? Like, how is it legal for them to do that? I don't understand how that can possibly be allowed. It's kind of crazy to me that we have 50 states with a ton of counties. Who knows how many counties, right? Probably thousands of counties, right? And I mean, I say that, I have no idea, but if there's thousands of counties, at least hundreds of counties in the country, right? One county can hold up the election by just saying we're not going to count our votes for 13 days. And the crazy thing is, Maricopa County, of course, the one that swung to Biden late in 2020, when a whole bunch of mail-in ballots came in, that weren't allowed as evidence in the court case that Kerry Lake brought against Maricopa County. There's 150,000 ballots that were duplicates. They were electronically scanned ballots that were duplicates in Maricopa County, and they weren't allowed into the court case by the judge. So it's very strange. Let's see. Delu Harding, everybody is abandoning Kamala now. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The legacy media has abandoned her, which is weird. Mr. Nobody, Trump 2024. Yeah, there you go. I agree. I'm worried about Cali doing that. Well, California will probably report the day of. Maricopa County is Arizona. It's was it the Phoenix area? I think it's the Phoenix. It's the most populous county in Arizona. It's got 2.1 million people. Eddie Spaghetti. Hey, that's from Parks and Rec. Are you in California? No, I am not in California. I am from Seattle, but I don't live there anymore. I moved to the Midwest. Ferris King from Syria. I tell you that America must leave us and stop supporting terrorism. I don't know about what we must do, because our government is war hawks, but I am very non-interventionist. I think that we should get the hell out of the Middle East. Um, we've got no reason to be there. We need to worry about our own people first. Delu Harding, a single county can't hold up an election. Well, it kind of can if Arizona ends up being the tiebreaker. Arizona and Nevada decided the election last time, pretty much, and Arizona and Nevada both had a whole bunch of issues counting. Arizona was still fighting about who had won their election by March. It was like 6 months later, 5 months later, they're still fighting over whether Trump or Biden actually won that state. So they theoretically they could hold up the election. Ferris King, is there no one in America other than these two old men? I like that question. I like that question because why are we electing people that are, pushing their 80s? I mean, obviously because younger people aren't coming forward with the type of platform and abilities that, like Donald Trump has. But I agree. I think that it should be younger people running for office and younger people being part of the political discourse. But unfortunately, people don't usually get interested in politics till they're in their 40s. And the ones that get interested before that are generally insufferable, like Harry Sisson. Jerry Last, my personal conspiracy theory is that they're using the postal service. During mail count, they would drive mail around the region until the count was over. Wages based on volume. Yeah, well, and I've already seen a bunch of videos of them, losing the chain of custody of ballots with the mail delivery service. Having vans with boxes and boxes of ballots just open in the parking lot, nobody around. They're making trips in and out of the building. There's no chain of custody on those ballots. And there was a guy in California found a bunch of ballots in a storm drain. There was a bunch of instances in Georgia and Texas of people claiming that their votes were being flipped by Dominion voting machines. What they put in was not what printed out on the ballot. And so people have been, very, very careful about making sure that they're checking those ballots that are printed out, because it's really scary. Everybody knows about the problems with Dominion voting machines, and it's really scary when you put in somebody that you're voting for and then the machine spits out a different name. So Ferris King, thank you for that. Yep. P for plenty. Selected, not elected, folks. Yeah, that was the primary for Kamala Harris, wasn't it? But it's amazing to me that we feel like we have as much. I think Trump is as close as you're going to get, at least for a while, at least probably so far in my lifetime. I'm probably maybe as far as we'll ever see someone who's an outsider really getting in. I mean, you saw RFK wasn't that. He was an outsider, but he was definitely a Democrat and had always aligned himself with Democrat values, and they just shut him out. And so the way that the DNC is structured, you'll never see an outsider like that come in through the Democratic Party. So, P for plenty. Your vote is only consent. It doesn't mean a thing to the oligarchs who choose it. I agree. Drew H. Enjoying the movie, folks? Yeah, if this is the movie you're referring to, probably not. Left and right are the same beast. I agree. It's something I get particularly irritated with people who accuse me of being like a right-wing shill, because actually I was a Bernie person in 2016. I supported Bernie, and then I was very ideologically swept up, and then when he did his whole gave up his platform to Black Lives Matter, I walked away from him, but I didn't vote in 2016, and I didn't care for Trump. My views haven't really changed all that much, but the Democratic Party has got far more lefty and accepting of crazy people. And so I mean, I never was registered as a Democrat either, but I always called myself a liberal. And I don't do that anymore because it's got a connotation here. Be for plenty. God bless. Thanks. Ferris King. We in the Middle East and in the Arab countries expect Kamala Harris to win. Kamala Harris is who our P for Plenty said, who the oligarchs want to win. But I don't. Right now, she's polling behind Trump. If you adjust the polls for the bias that was shown in 2020 and 2016, well, no, 2016 is even worse. But if you adjust for the bias in 2020, then Trump is leading in all the swing states, and in fact, he's only behind by like a point in like Virginia and Minnesota. So theoretically, if you took everybody who's supporting one side or the other right now and asked them, Trump would win, but that doesn't account for like ballot harvesting and all that sort of thing. So, and fortification, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't really know how to say it without sounding conspiratorial, but like it, if the election is based on like the free and fair argument between Trump and Harris, then Trump wins. Nobody believes in Kamala Harris here. Kamala Harris is an empty suit. She's vacuous and just yeah. Nobody. The average person doesn't relate to Kamala Harris. I'll put it that way. Mans Umarov said something, and it looks like Russian, maybe Ukrainian. I don't know. It looks like Russian to me. And they said something else in Russian. I don't know what that says, and I can't. I'm streaming this on my phone because my computer broke. So I've been all the videos that I've been uploading are on my phone, and my computer's completely broken. So it's crazy that I've been able to upload some videos and actually gain a few subscribers and get some views because my videos could be a lot better. Man Zomarov, my name is Vladimir. Nice to meet you, Vladimir. I have been to Russia a grand total of one time in my life. I was 19 and I represented the U.S. in an intercontinental chess championship in Yaroslavl. And I loved it. I had a great time there. I know it's not the most popular thing to say in America that, you had a good time in Russia. But I had fun, and I've got a couple of friends. We were very close. Not so much anymore, but we're very close for a while. John Arch. Hey, John Arch. What's up, buddy? Man Zumarov. I'm from Rostov-on-Don. Nice to meet you, too. I have no idea where that is. Jerry Less said, I like this better, more personal, tired of high production and no realness in content creators. I was thinking about that, watching all this election coverage. It's like everybody has the same setup, like with the background, and then they pull the video up. And so I made today I just made kind of a rant at the end of the day and uploaded. I'm interested to see how it does. But I try to, it feels very produced, the way people make videos now. I like the era, like 2006 to 2010, before people really got into video editing, and they just turned the camera on and had their opinion, and they stopped editing so much stuff. I liked that a lot, and so I'm kind of enjoying this sort of stream, and then also like the way that I'm making the videos now. I'm literally just sitting in my car between patients, just turning the camera on and yelling about things that I care about. John R. said, the Russian country and its people are great. The government is a problem. Yeah, my friend Dimitri from there, he said they don't talk about politics in Russia because you never know who's listening to you. So John Arch said, sup? JLS said, hi, John. They're talking to each other. Ferris King's laughing. Man Zumarov, your English is very fast. Sorry. Yeah, here in America, we sure speak a lot faster than people are able to understand. But it goes both ways. If I don't understand any Russian, but I understand a little Spanish. And when people are speaking in Spanish, it's really, really hard for me to keep up with them. John Arch says, Malice is right. He speaks the truth. Braden Marsh says, Trump. Yes, Trump. We're talking about election fortification for people that just joined. We're kind of just discussing Maricopa County and their plan to not count all their votes for 13 days. It seems like that should be illegal. I don't know why this hasn't been litigated. Malice in society, uncomfortable truth to most. I'm not sure what you're referring to, John Arch. I didn't see a previous comment from Malice, so it must have been hidden by YouTube. Let me see if I can. Oh, I have it on top messages. Hang on. Let me see if I can find all messages. What did Malice say? Oh, that's why YouTube hid it. Somebody with a Chinese name says 2024 Harris. Trump is racist. Okay, well, we know who the Chinese support now, I guess. Man Zumarov. I like Trump, Metallica, and Guns N' Roses. John Arch said, oh, look, it's a Chinese bot. I can fix this. Oh, my goodness. Chinese guy said, I'm bot. Oh, man. No, I don't know what to expect. What do you guys think? Do you think that that Trump will be able to hold a lead big enough that the late votes in Arizona and Michigan? So just assume Arizona and Michigan go Harris, seeing this fortification that's going on, you know. If that is indeed the case, then is it still a fairly straightforward path to victory for Trump? He's leading in Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina. I believe Harris is 0.1 ahead in Wisconsin. There's several. Let's say the swing states. I think Trump's ahead in 5 of 7 or 6 of 7. But I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked at the polls since this morning. I think it's 5 of 7 though. So if Trump goes ahead and wins it, but Arizona is one of those. So if we say Trump takes Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina, is that enough to win? At that point we don't worry about Arizona and Michigan, right? But Arizona and Michigan are the most concerning ones. The Chinese guy says Trump was criminal. A Chinese guy, where do you live? Jeff said, the only thing I'm worried about are the totally unverified mail-in ballots. Also, Chinese guy, are you Chinese? I can't tell those letters apart. If you're Korean, I'm sorry for calling you Chinese. Yeah, totally unverified mail-in ballots. Yeah, and fortunately, most of the states that are allowing that are states that are going to go blue anyway. But there are some, yeah, it's the mail-in ballots is a bad idea for any, like, other than like soldiers overseas. I feel like mail-in ballots is a really stupid idea. Ferris King said, I'm surprised America takes so many taxes from its citizens and sends them to the military support in Israel. I'm surprised that they take so much in taxes, period, but the foreign aid is something I'm very opposed to. I made a video about that today. You guys should go watch it. I made a rant earlier talking about all the, today I met a guy who was he was past retirement age and he was working in a gas station, and he was saying he had to supplement his Social Security because inflation had gotten so bad. And I felt terrible about that, but we're sending so much money overseas, and our seniors and our veterans are having to work, after the age of 65. That's just not right. But yeah, the mail-in ballots, like, that's a stupid idea. Stupid idea. Chinese guy said if you lose, he will be going to Laji. I think he means jail. Neat. John Arch said Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, Xi Jinping. Man Zumarov said, from Russia, respect Republicans and hate democracy politics. Well, they're just walking farther and farther left. He said, I'm living American. I'm not Chinese person. Vote Harris. This guy's funny. Chinese guy, you should subscribe to me. I need a Harris voter to subscribe to me. Jerry Last said, Sabin to therapy today, Dr. Monday keeping... Oh, he's talking to John. Every single worker in the White House has Israeli citizenship. Oh, they're talking about Groyper things. You guys do Groyper things. JT player, greetings from Ghana. Oh, neat. Okay. Welcome. JT player saying, Ghana we call Kamala Giyabatu, which means idiot goat. That's funny. Uh, John Arch said, "Oh yeah, bad news, Jack. Tourist brake checked a car out of me and totaled it. Good news, I got a new pickup truck. Neat." Uh, yeah. I think that I think Trump should carry all of the swing states, but I'm interested about Minnesota, because Minnesota is polling right now. I think Harris +6 or Harris +7, but the bias uh, from 2020 is 2 to 7, between 2 and 7 points. So I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure if Trump's got a chance there or not. And the same goes for New Hampshire. Actually, New Hampshire, when you take into account the 2020 bias, it's actually not out of reach. And I've heard people say a lot of things about New Jersey. New Jersey's deep blue. It's not going to Trump. I've also heard a lot of people talking about New York. New York's not going to Trump. But on the other hand, I've heard a lot of people on the left saying that Florida and Texas are going blue. They're absolutely not going blue. The thing about Texas is that, yeah, there's been a lot of Californians moving to Texas, but the problem for them is that um, there are so many friggin' people in Texas. So Texas gets 40 electoral votes, where the only state that gets more is California, I believe, which is 44. It's going to take them decades to get enough people into Texas to flip Texas blue. And by the time they do that, then the Rust Belt will have kind of gone the other way. Because when people from California, and I say this as someone who, I've got family up in Idaho and Oregon and Montana, the more people from California that come in, the more people who are originally from there will migrate out, because Californians come and bring their policies with them. Malice in society. Sorry, Jack. Groypers will be mainstream sooner rather than later, whether you like it or not. Hey, Groypers do Groyper things. I don't comment on Groypers. Chinese guy says, did you forget 2020? No, I didn't forget 2020. I know what happened in 2020. YouTube bans you from talking about things like that, or at least they did for a while. But I know what happened in 2020. Ferris King, I apologize for the expression, but will black people vote for Trump? Black men are actually trending toward Trump. Now, the majority will still vote Harris, but Trump is doing better with the black vote than I think historically any Republican has for quite some time. I don't remember the numbers on it, but Trump is doing better than he needs to do with the black thing. Mouse inside, you literally just commented on the Groypers. What do you mean? No, I mean, whatever. I don't get into Groyper things. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Jerry Lass, he's still talking to John. Valiant Thor, weak men and single women vote for Democrats and socialism because if you can't compete, you want the government to take from the strong and give to you. It's like a survival technique. Correct, Valiant Thor, you are right. Trump doesn't have enough black neighbors vote. This Chinese guy is funny. I like this guy. No, Trump has enough. The offset, the one demographic that Trump actually needs to do better with is white women. That is the liberal white women is the demographic where the biggest disparity is in favor of Harris. That isn't a normal advantage for Democrats. I mean, like there's always a big advantage with black women and black men for Democrats. Valiant Thor, so voting for Kamala is like taking a massive shit in your pants and slipping on a fresh pair of sunglasses and confidently claiming everything's under control. Yeah, that's I like that. User said, yo, did you guys see Virginia is, I think Harris is only leading it by, I think it's like, is it 2.1 or 1.1? It's a very slim margin for Virginia. I think Virginia is in play. I don't think people are realizing that the people like Scott Pressler going around in the swing states knocking on doors. Scott Pressler has done a phenomenal job in Pennsylvania, by the way. Not only getting people to turn out, but also getting them to like keeping an eye on uh, election. What do you call them, like polling stations, keeping an eye on all the votes going in and watching out for any interference. They're doing a very good job of it. But I don't think people are really grasping how big of a deal it is that Republicans right now are outpacing Democrats in early voting in a lot of swing states, and they're uh, in the ones where they haven't surpassed the Democrats, they're close. They're within a few percentage points. The difference in 2020 was double digits. Now the thing about those early votes, like if we're gonna play with early votes, which I don't think we should, um, but if we're gonna play with early voting, then the thing about that's great about early voting is that once you get somebody to vote early, you don't have to court their vote anymore, and you don't have to worry about getting them out on election day, because election day everybody's there. Who the hell wants to stand in line? I'm actually going to vote tomorrow, because I have time and I'm probably going to be driving all over the state on election day working. So I'm going to vote early because it's there and I can go vote in person. And but if we're going to play with early voting, the Republicans were not on their game last time. They didn't go vote early at all, and now they are. And the bump on election day, I did the numbers. I did a video with the numbers the other day. Trump is expected to win 52% to 35% on election day. So the Democrats need to have a firewall of at least, what is that, 17 points, roughly. I mean, obviously, it's going to be different in different states, but they need to have a significant firewall before Election Day in order to maintain that lead. Being ahead by just 2 points in early voting isn't going to cut it. Even 9 points is not going to cut it, because that advantage on Election Day for Trump is going to be way bigger. User said, yo, what's up, user? Daniel Nikon, senior. Odd that Harris only received 1% in the primaries. Newsom received 4%, and somehow Harris is picked and not by the people. Harris was installed. Yeah, Harris never got a single vote in the primary. That's true. John Arch, boomers are getting off their wheelchairs. User said, I hope she loses for no more reason than she says a bunch of word salad. All the others don't matter. Dude, she's so annoying. I've made 3 videos in the last couple of days. I've listened to 2 full Kamala Harris town halls and a full Kamala Harris interview, and I'm done for a while. I am not saying that to be funny either. I can't listen to her anymore. It's exhausting to try to figure out what she's saying, because it, like, you saw the biggest weakness thing, you know, um, where she was asked what her biggest weakness is at the CNN town hall. I mean, it kills me to hear that woman talk. I have so much trouble getting through it. Jerry Last said, it happened on 9/11. It was my own personal 9/11. Last one was censored. YouTube is censoring streams. Bad time. Yeah, because I didn't see the other one. And I'm on top or live chat. User said they always censor this time of election. Yeah, they are censoring pretty hard people's videos and streams. I saw a couple of larger streamers get their streams booted off YouTube, and they were only streaming on Rumble. I try not to get, well, for number one, I'm not big. My channel's not big enough to get their attention, but I try not to say too much on here, just because I don't have the time or energy to keep up. My nose itches so badly. There's fall allergies here. I don't have the time or energy to do like a Rumble channel or anything like that. Ferris King, I support Trump because he supports the return of his forces from my country. I support our troops coming home as well. No Diddy said, yo, is it pink though? Valiant though, Kamala is a broken record running on a broken record. Correct. Jerry Last, I hate censorship with a passion. Yes. Bunjamoid, hey buddy. Says, I need to vote early too. I am not trusting that election day will go smoothly this year. Too much talk of Terry attacks and cyber attacks. Dude, if you haven't seen the Terry, what is it called? Looking for Terrys by Key and Peele, it's amazing. I know you have Bunchamoy, but anybody who's watching. John Arch, Kamala can't even regurgitate a set talking point without having a straw. I know, dude. Did you see that video where she kept doing like the thing? Like an entire interview is like, dude, this chick is like, people are like, oh, she's on cocaine and all this. Like, I have no idea, but it was kind of funny to see that be the narrative. Chinese guy says, if. Okay. User said, it's so bad, I couldn't watch the last one, only clips. Yeah, it's terrible, man. Jerry Lassa, property management made me take down my legalized weed sign for the election. Made the point all my neighbors had Trump flags. Next day, their Trump flags were gone. I duct taped it to my tailgate. Valiant Thor, astonishing how our words are more patrolled than the southern border. That's true. User said, man, me too this year with the allergies. Yeah, dude, and here, it's humid enough here that there's like actually like a mold index that they release every day. It's crazy. Chinese guy said, I will see Trump going to jail. I doubt it. I don't think Trump is going to go to jail at all. Even if Harris wins, Trump's not going to jail. John Arch said, I spend all my time outside, so my allergies have been settled already. Yeah. Daniel Nikon, I think it was mentioned that the powder in the bag was Kamala. Was Kamala? Kamala was the powder? Or was it cocaine by Sky News? I don't know. I don't know, but she was sure, like, eyes wide open, hyped up, that sort of thing. So, I don't know. I don't know. Ferris King, has anyone seen the leader of North Korea? Huh. He's been sending troops to Russia. That's what he's been doing. John Arch, so Kamala is trying to get Hunter's stash off her sleeve as a tick it's a tick Biden ad that she got from exposure. Did you guys see Trump floated the idea of eliminating income tax? I guess New York Times wrote an article about it, but I'm not going to pay for their subscription. But I guess Trump was floating the idea of eliminating income tax and trying to replace it with tariffs, just like they used to do before. And income tax is relatively new. The way that I understand income tax is that how it got started is, I guess during Prohibition, the Democrats really wanted to ban alcohol, and the Republicans weren't going to let them do it. But then the Democrats made a deal with the Republicans that they would give all of Congress a raise if the Republicans would allow them to implement an income tax, and that's where they would use the income tax to give everybody a raise. But if if they had let the Democrats ban alcohol. So I guess the Republicans sold out the American people for for a raise back in the 1910s, 20s, whenever income tax became a thing. I think it was the early 20s, whenever it was. But that's the story I always heard, but I don't know the details of it. Never really cared enough to go look it up. Jerry Less said, at least the weed is getting better as things go to shit. User said, hey, Hunter did make visits to the White House. Maybe Hunter and Kamala are buddies. User said they even found his bag. Catherine C. Wow, I thought this channel was gone. Glad to see you pop up. Thanks. No, I've been making videos for about a month. It's actually kind of cool to see, the metrics go up, subscribers and that sort of thing. It's like, oh, well, maybe just making videos and speaking my mind works, and I don't have to have a stream set up and a set schedule and all of that sort of thing. So 847 Global, really? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yasir Al-Katab, why do you wear a hat indoors? I'm actually about to leave here in just a few minutes. I was sitting here waiting. I'm going to go pick up my daughter, and I had a few minutes, but I'm about to leave, that's why. And I just got home from the gym. John Arch, Trump would never remove income tax. His owners won't allow it. I don't know. He floated it, though. User, I'll take the old $30 brickweed ounces back if things wouldn't go to shit. Yeah. Yasir Al-Katab, Kamala just yapping, no action. Yeah, pretty much. John Arch says, boomers did in fact sell everyone out for a short-term raise. There's more to it. but I need my notes. Yeah. Jerry Less said, I have a bald head. I wear a hat indoors, so don't blind my wife. uh, John Arch, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know that the no income tax thing would work. Like we would have to cut so many programs. Medicare and Social Security um, would both probably go away at that point because they've dipped into it so much. They're stealing money from other places to keep them funded, and then it's a house of cards, is what I'm saying. You yank one paying source. I don't know. I'm not an economist. I don't think it would work at this. The government's so bloated, you'd have to, you'd really really have to cut programs. So I don't know. John Arch, tell your stolen baby I said hi and go do well learning. School sucks. She's one. I don't think she's ready to hear that yet. Ham said Biden and Harris invested billions here in Michigan with the CHIPS Act. Another 325 million last week. Invested. Oh, yep. I guess. I don't know the numbers on that. Sorry, not offhand. I'd have to go look. Chinese guy said Trump has been lose since his be shot. Neat. I disagree. Trump the assassination attempt actually bumped Trump's polling big time. Blind nomad. Let's not screw disabled people and the elderly. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you could eliminate income tax right now. I think it sounds good, and I think he could give people a big cut. So the way that this would work, I think, is Trump, first of all, doesn't have enough time to implement all this stuff that he's talking about. In 4 years, he's not going to be able to get it done. The only way that this would work is if Trump won and then like J.D. Vance or whoever the MAGA next person is wins, one and then the next. But if they have a Department of Government Efficiency, the Doge with Elon Musk consulting on it, I think that they could cut, like you could gut a lot of government programs. You could gut a lot of bureaucrats out of the federal government and save a crap ton of money. Shut down a bunch of programs. I mean, there's spending going into different departments that have been defunct since the 80s, and nobody ever bothered to end the legislation that funded them. So that money still gets allocated to God knows where. There just needs to be a lot of fat being trimmed. Chinese guy said, okay, listen, Trump don't get Wisconsin. Maybe. I don't know. It's in play. Ham said, people say they haven't had positive things happen under Biden. That is a big one for our manufacturing and community. Could be. I don't actually know enough about that one to speak intelligently on it. I don't think that you could say Biden didn't do anything at all positive. The CHIPS Act, I guess, if it's doing good for Michigan, I guess maybe it did good for Michigan. I'm not super familiar with that piece of legislation. But the things that my gripes with Biden and Harris are mainly inflation, the war in Ukraine, the Afghanistan withdrawal, the war in the Middle East. I vehemently disagree with both of them on abortion. Let's see. I mean, the list does go on. Obviously the mismanagement of the southern border. Their plan to give $25,000 to first-time home buyers, which, by the way, I would be a first-time home buyer if I go buy a house. I disagree with that plan because it's going to drive the cost of housing up. Ham, all right, how did they cause inflation? Lot of spending. John Archer, the money laundering and white homicide is a problem in Ukraine. Ham, have you looked at houses? I have absolutely looked at houses. We can't. I've talked about this before. I have a 6-figure income and an 800 credit score, and we can't buy a house. Xkiller007X, I'm here for the Diddy party. Oil up, baby. Ham, Trump spent more than Biden, though. He did. He did spend more than any president ever, I believe. Part of that was the COVID pandemic, obviously. Um, I don't. That was an unprecedented event. So when you call it, you have to call it a one off. So I don't really know. You can't. It's it's just hard to have that discussion because of COVID. But yeah, I do. I think that Trump needed to dial that back as well. But the inflation was better under him. It was a cumulative total of less than 8%, I believe. It was like 1 point. It was like 3.2, 2.1, 1 point something, and then 2 point something. I think it was around 8% cumulative inflation under Trump. Uh, Danielle H. Under Trump, we had less taxes, more jobs, closed borders, less crime, lower gas prices, lower grocery prices, more money in our pockets, and no wars. Yeah, the no wars thing is huge for me as well. But Trump may have spent more, but inflation was not nearly what it is now under him. User said, "Dude, houses have gone up so much. Never mind the cost of materials." Dude, I know it's insane, how expensive it is. Easy games. Are you gay? I am not gay, in fact. I am married and I've got a daughter. User said, how about spending money on people who shouldn't be here? Yeah, there it is. That spending on illegal immigrants, yes. Ham said, I was looking at houses this year and was beat out on 10 houses, 8 of which were cash buyers, but really that 25K would have helped me being a first-time home buyer. Yeah, it would help until it's factored in by the people that are selling the homes. It absolutely would help. And there's a lot of conservative people that, that are proponents of that, and they think that that is one of her good ideas. I disagree, partly because I'm more libertarian than that, and I don't believe that the government should be handing out $25,000 checks to anyone, myself included, for the same reason that I oppose student loan forgiveness. I think student loan interest should be paused, but I don't think the student loan should be forgiven because people took those loans out. It's the same principle to me. Shannon Trevor, inflation hits after a pandemic. Yeah, maybe. We haven't had a pandemic like that since, 1919? And she also said, but Biden spent on COVID too. He did, but he didn't do Project Warp Speed and all those other programs that initially hit. And particularly the medical subsidies that Trump set in place, the federal payments that I remember I worked in a COVID wing of a hospital. I was on a proning team, turning people face down, face up, and I remember it was like $3,500 per COVID death for hardship pay, and nurses and aides were making like $100 an hour and that was federal money. So I mean that's where a lot of that spending came from as well. XKiller00XX make 6 figures and can't buy a house with perfect credit. Something's not right. Well, yeah, it's the interest rate. The interest rate is about 12% for me right now. I've gone looking, and straight up, it's like interest rate 12%. I can't do it. Like I can't pay what they're wanting me to pay. On top of everything else, it's not feasible. Shannon Trevor, what's inflation now? Cumulatively over 20%. That's the point. It was around 8% under Trump. It's round about 20. Ham said, well, you just said Biden's spending caused inflation. You said Trump spent more. Yeah. Well, that's part of it. When you take the social programs that Biden has, and for illegals, and you're spending as much money as you are on foreign wars and the manufacturing. You're taxing the corporations at a rate. I think he raised corporation taxes by 6% immediately, and you're losing manufacturing. I mean, there's a lot more factors than just spending that go into inflation. Shannon Schreiber, you don't take guests. No, then bye. I don't know what you're talking about. Leslie Bro, Trump, 100%. Easy games, bro. Do have Riz. I don't know what that means. Jerry Last, the double wides in my neighborhood just went up for sale. Houses cheap in South Dakota. Lots of jobs in the medical field. Low cost of living, super red state. Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? I'll come be your neighbor, Jerry. Leslie, bro, car notes are outrageous because the interest rates, homes and insurance, people can't afford. We need Donald Trump, yeah. Just like student loans, right? Government got involved and the price of school went up. Yeah, true. Shannon Trevor, I can correct all of the least 4 statements you just made, but you don't allow folks to teach you. Okay. Mr. Romero, New Mexico for Trump 2024. Constance Jackson, my whole family is voting Trump. Easy game. So, man, how'd you get your girl? I met her at the gym. You got to work out. No, she worked at the gym. Jake Rose, the Trump MAGA, Shannon Trevor, since H1N1. H1N1 was not a pandemic. I'm sorry, it was absolutely not a pandemic. Don't even go there. Him said, it takes time for all the spending to put pressure on prices. It's not overnight. Literally takes you. No, well, here's the thing. When you're telling me that the economy's better under Biden, and that the inflation isn't as bad, or that, we don't believe you because we have to buy groceries. I mean, I know that that's like a cringe thing to say, but it's true. Like, our groceries since April have gone up like 60%. I keep track of all of that stuff. Shannon Trevor, where are you trying to buy a house, bro? I'm not telling you where I live. Midwest. Ham, LOL, 12%. You don't have an 800 credit score. It was 802 when I just bought my car. I don't know what you're asking me, Shannon. I've got to go pick up my daughter. I just got a text to go get her. So it's nice hanging out with everybody. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't yet. And I'll see you guys next time.